This video series is for people who struggle with codependency and a critical inner voice that is stuck in pain about events in the past. Their inner voice is often inconsolable, and they may even feel enslaved by it. As a result, they experience chronic shame, depression, grief, anxiety, anger, despair, and other debilitating emotions. Hi, my name is Arden Reardon, and I am a trauma release facilitator in Austin, Texas. In these videos, you will learn to give yourself empathy for events in the past, even for the most difficult situations. The foundation of the material presented here is the self-empathy formula of nonviolent communication developed by Marshall Rosenberg. Subsequent videos will dig deeper into specific situations and how to use the NVC formula for self-empathy in combination with other systems such as inner child work. Transforming your inner voice is possible. When your inner voice is screaming about what you should have said or done, judging you and blaming you for how events turned out in the past, it is overwhelming and extremely painful. It can make you want to run and hide, or worse. A self-abusive internal voice can drive people into addictions and violence toward the self and others. When your inner voice says, "I don't deserve to have relationships," or "I am supposed to be alone," that sort of thinking that you are unworthy or undeserving of love and acceptance and belonging is not natural. Human intelligence is unique in its ability to create complex, life-alienating thoughts of self-judgment and self-condemnation, which lead to guilt, jealousy, shame, and self-hatred. These thoughts disconnect us from natural laws and prevent us from experiencing freedom in the present moment. We are trained to compare ourselves to others in order to determine our proper place in the hierarchy based on human-created values. We are constantly assessing our worth in relation to others based on events in the past and worrying about our performance in the future. We are indoctrinated into these unnatural and suppressive belief systems during our childhood environment. The good news is this conditioning can be replaced with new, healthier ways of communicating with yourself and others. You need a clear and effective, step-by-step process that allows for all the grief and pain to be released and held in a precious space of loving acceptance. The first step on this path is to make the choice to devote time and energy to providing empathy for that inner child who is in pain. This takes courage, determination, and a commitment to your own healing and freedom. At first, it may feel impossible to listen to that inner voice and acknowledge the pain. But don't give up. It is possible to transform your relationship with your inner voice and restore inner peace. It is possible to create a loving partnership with your inner child. Self-empathy can save the world. Why do we all need to learn self-empathy? Number 1, there will always be times when we need empathy and no one is available. Number 2, self-empathy enables us to work with material that we are too ashamed to talk about. Number 3, self-empathy gives us autonomy and self-sufficiency. Number 4, self-empathy helps us to remain calm and stable when those around us are in distress. Number 5, self-empathy frees us from codependency and emotional enslavement. Number 6, self-empathy is empowering and provides a sense of self-worth. The self-empathy process presented in this video series will help you to reconnect with the needs, goals, and dreams that you sacrificed or gave up on. The formula is surprisingly simple, yet it can take enormous strength to implement it when we have been conditioned to abuse, blame, and judge ourselves. You can apply self-empathy to any issue that causes you distress, so you can start anywhere with any unpleasant feeling or experience related to events in the past, present, or future. The journey to reconnect with our needs starts with feeling the suppressed emotions. This may be terrifying and overwhelming. If you are afraid, you can back up a step and have empathy for your fear of feeling your own feelings. There is nothing wrong with being afraid to feel these emotions. Often we have buried our needs and dreams so deep that we can't remember them. The good news is, after we release the emotions we suppressed in the past, our needs, dreams, and desires often flow back into our consciousness without any effort. It is easy to shut down the process of revisiting our suppressed emotions with self-judgments about being weak, self-indulgent, needy, or narcissistic. When our inner voice gets too loud, we can stop and provide empathy for these judgmental thoughts. We may also need to provide empathy for our present emotions about being trained to suppress our emotions in the past. We may need to give ourselves empathy about the fact that we need to work so hard, giving ourselves some empathy. And we may need to mourn the amount of time we lost and the needs not met because we were so debilitated from the pain. Mastering self-empathy is a mindfulness practice. It may require constant vigilance to notice when our inner world has been taken over by our inner critic. It can feel like a battle of wills between two parts of us. If you slip up or lose your strength and allow your inner critic to run wild, don't beat yourself up. There's a good chance you will have another opportunity to give yourself empathy very soon.